Let's make sure we are recording. Yep. Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, rather. This is Wendy Overton, and welcome to the BizTech Challenge. We are doing a webinar to cover entrepreneur resources. So there are lots of resources out there. I just want to give you an overview, just so you know things that can help you now with what you're doing with the BizTech Challenge, and also long term as you continue your entrepreneur journey, just so you have a taste of what's actually out there. There's been an explosion of resources out in just throughout the nation. In fact, throughout the world. We're kind of in a tidal change over the past probably decade or so of entrepreneur resources that have been developed. So there's lots of resources out there. I want to make sure that you're aware of them, and also aware of some of the best practices that a lot of startup entrepreneurs are following to reduce the cost and the risk of starting a business, while at the same time creating smarter and leaner organizations. Back in the early days of the dot-com boom, people were raising millions of dollars just because they felt if they built something really big, then people would automatically buy it. And they realized that that was not true. So there's been a lot of studying done on best practices on how to get started. And that is the Lean Startup Method. Joelle Dawson talked briefly about that at our webinar a few weeks ago. And we'll touch on how to actually delve deeper into that method in order to make sure that you are able to learn some of the lessons that other entrepreneurs have learned and some of the researchers that are studying entrepreneurship have put together in order to help make sure that you have a shot. So let's get started. Let's see. Let's move on to the next page. There we go. Questions can be submitted via the chat box, and I'll answer them at the end of the presentation. You'll be muted so everyone can hear. If you need to talk to me, please say something via the chat box. I do have some videos to show, and I have learned, though, that the chat box can be a little dicey. So if I get a chat message during a video, that's fine. It's great, but it may pause the video. So we may have some we'll have to just go with that as we go. But please do let me know, like, if you can't hear the videos that I need to share with you, etc. I do want to make sure that that everything plays well. So please do let me know. We do have some of the webinars that we have done already. Those are now available online, and this one is also being recorded, and it will be made online in a few days. All right, a little bit about me. I've got a background in entrepreneurship. I ran a company back in Texas, and I have an MBA with a concentration in entrepreneurship. I've been involved with Startup Weekend, which focuses a lot on the Lean Startup Method and finding ways to turn ideas to reality with the Lean Startup Method, and a judge for Startup Weekend as well. I am a business model and a startup coach, and I've been involved in building the entrepreneur community. I am currently the Director of Programs at Nexus LA. We are the ones that run the BizTech Challenge, and I am I'm the Director of Programs at Nexus LA, and I'm in charge of the BizTech Challenge. So where to start? Well, let's look at the business model canvas. So this is a tool that was developed, I don't know, several years ago, maybe five to 8 years ago. And it's a one-page look at your business model. The old way of doing this was, let's create a big business plan and spend months and months and months and months writing a business plan. And I'm sure that we will then have something that we can just execute. Business plans are developed for existing businesses. They are not good tools for startups. There's a big difference there. A business plan says, here's what we know. And we know that we know this because we have a business model, we've executed it, we know that it works. It's great for seeking investment because at that point you should already know how you make money. But a business model is something that needs to be developed first. And that's why the business model canvas was developed. It is a flexible one-shot look at your business model while it is emerging. Because business models, you don't know anything right now. None of you listening to this actually know, unless you're actually running an actual business that is actually getting money repeatable on a daily, regular basis. You really don't know that what you're doing is really going to work. So the business model canvas allows you to do some tests to figure out, is this the right customer segment? Is this their problem and their need? Is my value proposition, what I'm giving them, is it solving that need? How do they want to communicate? Are we going to do it in person? Is this going to be, a physical product? Is it going to be online? What are all those pieces and parts of that? That's what the business model canvas was developed for. So right now I'm going to, this is actually out of order. Here we go. I want you to take a look at this particular little video. I want to make sure that you can hear it. So share computer sound, and this will describe the business model canvas and how it actually works. So let me make sure that we are good to go. Give me a moment. Please let me know. It's loading right now. I just paused it for a second. Can you guys all see this video? If you cannot, send me a chat message. Can you see the words, how can you design your business model? If you cannot, please send me a chat message. But I'm going to start it again, and we're going to go from here.
An organization's business model can be described with 9 basic building blocks: your customer segments, your value proposition for each segment, the channels to reach customers, customer relationships you establish, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create value, the key partners, and the cost structure of the business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a pre-structured canvas. This is what we call the business model canvas, a tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and invent new business models. Let's briefly go through the 9 building blocks, starting with the customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. This includes simple users and paying customers. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. The channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the type of relationship you're establishing with your customers. The revenue streams make clear how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing value. Then you need to describe the infrastructure to create, deliver, and capture value. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model. The key activities show which things you really need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Then once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. So with the business model canvas, you can map out your entire business model in one image. This works for startup entrepreneurs just as well as for the most senior executives.
Okay, as you can see, it says right here, learn more and get the canvas at businessmodelgeneration.com. There's also other canvases that are available online. So if you just search for business model canvas, you'll come up, I think there's one called Canvanizer that gives you a bunch of different types of canvases. But the point of it is that it's designed to help you actually see what it is you're doing instead of keeping it all in your head or burying it all in 30 pages of prose, because you want something that's flexible, because every day you should be learning and every day you should be saying, is that really true? Is that really the right partner, or is that really the right value proposition? Is that really the way that our customers want us to interact? So just take a look at what we at that particular canvas and work on it on a daily basis. Next, I'm going to show you how this actually looks for Amazon. So you're all familiar with Amazon. So this is a great example. It's going to help you see the way Amazon's overall business model works. Now, Amazon is a really big, complex company, and you are going to be much, much, much simpler. So but it's a way for you to help kind of dissect an entity that I'm sure you're all familiar with, and be able to see in action how the business model canvas simplifies that massive behemoth into something that is really distilled down to just a couple Post-it notes. So take a look. Please let me know via the chat if you cannot hear or see the video. Right now, you should be seeing a screen that has a bunch of sticky notes on it and the word Amazon. In a few minutes, you should be hearing some sound. All right, let's make this work. Well, hang on. Okay. Give me a moment. Here we go.
How many of you have used Amazon.com in the past? Many internet users have shopped on Amazon's e-commerce platform, which I'm sure you agree with me has a huge catalog of stuff. Like most retailers, Amazon makes money on the margins of its product sales. It even created the Amazon Prime membership for regular shoppers, which essentially gives you perks like free 2-day deliveries for a flat fee of $99 a year. Amazon.com first offered physical books, and then it added everything possibly sellable online. In the past years, online content has been integrated to its catalog. Amazon has paid content producers to get license rights and has made hype shows and movies available on Amazon.com. This content generates additional income for Amazon. The next step for Amazon was to bundle its online content offering with its Amazon Prime membership, which essentially means that anyone who pays the $99 fee can get free unlimited streaming of movies, of TV shows, and
Oh, dang it. Like I said, it's a little dicey. Hang on. Let's move ahead.
Amazon has paid content producers to get license rights and has made hype shows and movies available on Amazon.com. This content generates additional income for Amazon. The next step for Amazon was to bundle its online content offering with its Amazon Prime membership, which essentially means that anyone who pays the $99 fee can get free unlimited streaming of movies, of TV shows, and of music via Prime. So how does giving away instant videos for free likely make sense for Amazon? Maybe some Prime subscribers only stream on Amazon.com, Maybe they don't spend more than the $99 fee. But Amazon is betting on other subscribers that are engaged and that are likely to come back to take advantage of perks like free 2 days deliveries when shopping on Amazon.com. Eventually, this bundle is probably driving overall sales on the platform. Now, Amazon is taking things at the next level by producing its own content. It has been pursuing top talent and has even signed Woody Allen for a TV series. It's not really clear whether Amazon is producing its own content to reduce overall content-related cost, or if its ambitions are to offer exclusive content to drive a larger portion of the market to Amazon. Maybe it's both, we don't know. But what is certain is that Amazon is pushing the entertainment industry to new frontiers, and it's redefining what retailing is in the online age.
Okay, so as you saw from that site, from that video, that there was different color Post-it notes. So it basically represented two different populations and two different value propositions. So let's go. Hang on. I want to go show you the sticky notes again. Here we are. So you'll see that there's actually two different colors of Post-it notes, and that's deliberate because there's two different populations. There's the one that's doing the e-commerce stuff, and then there's the other product market fit, that's the online content. And so you can use the business model canvas to actually talk about those different aspects. Let's say you've got a two-sided market of like the way Facebook works with your users and then the people that are actually paying the money to Facebook, the advertisers. And so there's actually two different populations, the users and the actual customers. So your Post-it notes can help keep track of that by using the different colors, because you need to be able to explain both sides of your business model. If you've got some people that are going to be using your content or your product, and other people that are going to be the ones actually paying for it because they want access to the users. So those are some considerations. We'll talk a little bit more about where to get some explanations for business models in a few minutes in our presentation. Okay, let's move forward. Give me a moment. Here we are. So over here, this is entrepreneurship.org. This is a website that was put together by the Kauffman Foundation. So you can take a note of this website. Let's see if we can actually go take a look at it. Give me a moment. I'm going to share something with you. And here we are. So you should now be seeing entrepreneurship.org, Kauffman Entrepreneurs. This is a website put together by a foundation. They're based up in Kansas, and it has wonderful videos, material, content that can help educate you and build your knowledge about what it means to start and grow a business. So there's all sorts of entrepreneurial life. There's legal, marketing and sales, money, planning a strategy, talent, and HR. These are all different aspects that can help educate you so you can get best practices. And Kaufman spends a lot of time studying entrepreneurship. And so this is kind of an outgrowth of what they've learned regarding entrepreneurs. You'll see there's also, let's see, where's it at? So, lessons, all sorts of great things. There is one in particular that I wanted to show you, and it is right. Let's see, these right here, these are good for startups right here. You'll see this one's about angel investing, this is about presentation, this is about developing a startup board, and there's one in particular I wanted to show you, which was, here it is, develop ideas. So you guys are in the develop ideas stage. You'll see this is actually in stages. There's develop ideas, get started, and grow your business. Right now, what the BizTech Challenge is about, it's about developing ideas. Okay, you are right now trying to figure out what your business model is, do some tests, talk to some potential customers, kind of put the pieces together. Get started is that movement towards getting revenue, you know, building the tech, all that kind of stuff. And then growing your business is once you've got the business model, you then are focused on how do you grow, how do you get traction, how do you form a team, how do you hire employees. So these are all in a series of those kinds of stages. Right here, you'll see on the left-hand side, Steve Blank, the Lean Approach. His series will explain to you some of the work that will go into that business model canvas. So it's a very nice interlocked set of resources that can help you with that. And I highly recommend that you watch the Lean Approach videos with Steve Blank. And in fact, in our presentation, I'm going to have you watch a short one. So I'm going to go back to our presentation. Give me just a moment. And okay, so next on our list of resources for you is the Lean Approach. So there's also, in addition to that video series, there's some books out there. One is the Startup Owner's Manual, that is by Steve Blank. He wrote an actual step-by-step guide. It pretty much describes the lean startup process, the customer discovery. A prior book that Steve Blank wrote, and this was an early book. It was a book that he had when he had that aha moment of startups are not like regular companies. Startups are temporary business structures designed to search for a sustainable and repeatable business model, sustainable, repeatable, and scalable business model. This was his moment where he said, wow, this is different. A startup is not like a regular business, and the skills you use in a regular running, going concern are not the same skills that you would use to start your business. This particular book, it is an older book. It's one of the early ones of the entire startup revolution, but it's worth a read, and it's very interesting. I wouldn't say try to cram this in right now at this moment while you're trying to put together a pitch for the BizTech Challenge, but put it on your reading list. It's worth it. There's also this book called The Lean Startup, and that is with Eric Ries, and he describes the lean approach, which is all about building something small that allows you to test a certain idea that you think is true regarding a business model, deploying it, testing it, getting feedback on it, and then refining those hypotheses. So he describes that similar process, and so that his lean startup model is actually part of that whole suite of programs that can help you orient yourself to the many quick experiments and tests that give you facts that help you then refine your business model and say, it's no longer a guess, and now it's something that's factual because I have evidence. So here is the video by Steve Blank. It's going to describe the lean method to you. So it's going to give you a bit of insight and overview into the lean method so you have a better idea to kind of tie these different resources and contents together. Now, one thing I want to point out to you is that I've shared with you so far a lot of stuff that is available virtually online and self-study. There's so many resources out there that are like this, and these are some of the great ones that have come out over the past decade or so. So again, if you cannot hear or see this, please put a chat message in the chat box. Right now, you should be seeing something that says the lean method.
Turns out that a lean startup consists of three components. One is business model design, two is customer development, and three is agile engineering. And these three components help startups become incredibly efficient, reducing the amount of time to get the first product and reducing the amount of cash necessary to build that product. So in a lean startup, we really know something quite different than a large company. In a lean startup, we know that you just don't execute per plan. You're actually going to be learning and discovering from customers outside your office. We kind of know that there are no facts inside your building, so you're going to get the heck outside. And we also know that you're not smarter than the collective intelligence of your potential customers. So what we're going to do is put together a process that allows you to rapidly learn by getting out of the building and testing some of your key ideas and key features of the product as quickly and as rapidly as we can. And what you're going to find is a good number of your initial hypotheses are just simply wrong. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to start with writing down all the hypotheses. And the common framework we use is Alexander Osterwalder's business model canvas. This 9-box diagram puts all the hypotheses about your business. Who are the customers? What are you building for them? What's the channel? How are you going to reach them? How are you going to make money? And puts them in a single page. So it's going to provide a framework and then a scorecard for us to see how we're doing. But unlike just doing strategy in a large company, you're going to take these hypotheses and go outside the building and actually test them. Not test them randomly, but test them with a formal process called customer development. What we're going to do is design experiments, run the experiments outside the building, get the data, and look for insights. And in fact, the way we're going to actually get insights is by showing customers either PowerPoint, wireframes, clay models, prototypes, at any stage we can to actually gather as much information as we can about their feedback. And one of the things we're going to find out is that there are two unique things we do in a lean startup. One is when our hypotheses turn out to be incorrect, instead of firing people, we actually get to change those hypotheses. And these are called pivots. A pivot is defined as a substantive change to one or more of the business model canvas components. If it's a minor change, we call it an iteration. And so in a normal company or an old-fashioned startup, we'd fire the VP of sales if their assumptions were wrong. Here what we're doing is firing the plan. Not only does this work for startups, it actually works for large companies as well. We work for General Electric, one of the smartest big companies in the world. And GE was about to commercialize some of their high-temperature sulfur battery technology. And they wanted to offer these batteries to other companies for industrial applications. And they had done a great market research report and had pages of here's where the product should go. And the CEO was going to give the general manager, Prescott Logan, $100 million to just go build the factory and go execute, hire the staff and whatever. We have the technology and here's the report. But Prescott luckily said, you know, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like an existing business. This feels like a startup. And we ought to check our hypotheses. And so Prescott Logan and his customer development team flew around to almost every continent, in fact, every continent in the world, including Antarctica, and discovered that the requirements actually differed by industry segments. Substantially enough is that if they would have had a standard factory making standard product, they would have sold none of them. Because different customers required different packaging, different cooling, different connectors, and none of this was visible from inside the building. After 18 months, they figured out who the customers were, what they wanted, and then built the factory. And now, a couple of years later, they have backlogs for the next 3 years. And so what we now know is that no business plan survives first contact with customers. That means we wouldn't know whether we were right or wrong until after we shipped the product and customers gave us feedback. And by then, we've burned lots of time, lots of money, and potentially you're out of business. But imagine if you had a process that allowed you to quickly iterate and incrementally build the product a piece at a time, for each increment, learning and discovering whether you were on the right track. What's the right track? Do you have the right customers for the right features, which we call product market fit? Do you have the right distribution channel? Do you have the right revenue model, right pricing, partners? Do you understand your costs? We have a process now to test each one of these incrementally, cheaply, and quickly. And that's what the whole lean startup model is about.
Okay, there's a whole series on that entrepreneurship.org website that goes deeper into that to explain those steps better to you. But we are going to move on. So right here, he mentioned the business model canvas by Alexander Osterwalder. So he has a book not called The Business Model Generation, and it has a lot of different business models available, and it describes them. So you could have subscription models. There's two-sided markets. We have the model where you like the printer, where you sell the printer, but you actually make your money on the toner cartridges. Like there's lots of different ways that you can set up your business model. And this book gives a lot of examples of these different kinds of business models and shows some of the areas that you need to think about. One of the areas I see a lot is a startup will say, well, I'm gonna do this thing and people are they're gonna use it. They're gonna pay me money. And it actually turns out that the users are not the customers. And that is a big mistake when they don't actually think through who is going to pay for it and who is going to use it. So you've got to think that through, and who you're really talking about when you're talking about who's going to use it and who's going to pay for it. A lot of times people say that they're going to generate their revenue based on ads, but the customers are, these fitness people that are going to want to track their fitness. But if you're going to make your revenue on ads, you actually have users, and those are your fitness people who are using it, but your customers are the ones that are going to pay you money because they want to get to your users. So your product, for the all intents and purposes, for your customers is your users. You have to think about how do you actually match that up and communicate with both, and what is each part of that particular of that transaction actually looking for. So the business model generation, it's a good book. It's very visual. If you're a visual person, you're going to like it. It was very designy. It's a beautiful book, and it gives you a lot of good resources for creating different kinds of business models. So here's another book. This one, go to the website talkingtohumans.com, and this is free PDF download, or you can get the ebook like for 99 cents. But all of this talk about, you need to go talk to customers, got to go talk to customers. You should ask customers what they think. That's kind of daunting. And if you do it wrong, it's not helpful at all. So if you do it wrong and you're like, I've got this great idea. My mom says it's great. We've invested all of our family money on it. And isn't it beautiful? I'm so proud of this. What do you think? People are probably going to lie to you and tell you affirmations and say, that's really nice. Good for you. That's beautiful. Wonderful. But you really, really, at the end of the day, don't really care about that. What you really care about is, are they going to pay you money? Are they going to be your customer? Are they going to buy what it is you're selling? So you want to ask the questions that start to uncover both what it is they want to buy, and then uncover the actual motivations they have to become that customer. So Talking to Humans is a very easy read. It's kind of an allegorical sense. It's a story that you get to watch of these other people that are trying to figure out how to talk to customers. And it's worth reading, especially if you're going to be asking the questions correctly. On this website, they also have there's an assumptions worksheet. If you recall, and Steve Blanket talked about writing down all your hypotheses. This book, they call it Writing Down Your Assumptions. They've got an assumptions worksheet that can help you, because you want to question and test your assumptions and no longer keep them in the back of your mind of, they're true because I had that thought and therefore all my thoughts are true, therefore my assumption is true. And say, wait a second, it's an assumption. What do I need to go find out to turn my assumption into a known fact? So that assumptions worksheet helps you be more honest with yourself about what it is that the problem actually is. They also have 10 tips to remember. This is on that same website about do's and don'ts. And this is really useful to read through. And you'll see like number 4, don't let your excitement and optimism bias what you hear, or don't ask people to speculate. It does ask you, like number 5, that what you should do is get stories on past behavior. If you ask people, do you have a nutritious diet? People will say, yes, I eat very healthy. I care very much about that. So they're kind of just giving you a generic belief that they have about themselves. But what you really want to know is, let's get the facts. So a better question is, tell me what you ate yesterday. Can you walk me through your meals and what you ate? Well, I was really rushed in the morning, and so I just grabbed this muffin on my way to work. And then lunch, man, I went to this lunchtime seminar, and all they had was pizza, so I had a piece of pizza. In the afternoon, I was feeling really tired, so I had a Coke. And dinner, I was just exhausted, so I grabbed the candy bar and I just went to bed. Well, that's not a healthy diet. So while they may think they have a healthy diet, and that's the aspiration, the fact is that when you ask them their past behavior, very different facts came out. So those are useful questions. So take a look at Talking to Humans, and like I said, that's a free resource that you can go and use right now. Now, this particular site is SCORE. Now, this is a volunteer mentoring system, and you can go now and talk to them. It's a list of mentors that are willing to work with you. One of our webinars was actually presented by a certified SCORE mentor, and they will provide advice on your business plan, on your business model, and just give you feedback. There's a main site you can go to, score.org. And you can search for mentors all around the country. And you don't have to use a local mentor. You can use a mentor anywhere in the country as part of the network. But if you want to go visit somebody, you can search for the different locations. And so there's a Baton Rouge one, there's a Shreveport one, there's New Orleans, there's some that are in Texas, there's some that are in Alabama. So there are SCORE sites all around the country. And I suggest you check it out. And they've got some good resources there for you. There's also small business development centers. Now this is it's about 100 centers from around the nation, and it's low-cost business consulting, and it's funded in part by a national government program called the Small Business Association, and by local governments. Here in Louisiana, there's, like here in Baton Rouge, there's one right up at Southern University, and there are centers all around the state, and these are all available to you guys. It's free, again. It's no-cost business consulting and low-cost training. So take a look at the business consulting and the options they have to offer you, and they're a wonderful resource. There's also the Small Business Administration itself. Now, this one is not so much of a consulting. They don't provide the hands-on consulting. But if you go to the website, you can learn about federal contracting, forms of capital available, local resources, and more. They work kind of behind the scenes, often supporting lots of other programs that are happening in cities all across the country. But the website itself does have direct help to give you some insight and other kinds of training and ideas of other kinds of programs that may be available to support you. Now, local entrepreneur support. I've alluded to this. Each community, almost every community in this entire state and all around the country has local entrepreneur support. And if nothing in your own particular city, there's others that are statewide. There's other kinds of programs that are designed to help support entrepreneurs. Down in New Orleans, there's organizations like Idea Village, Propeller, Launchpad. These are not, this is not comprehensive by any stretch. It just gives you an idea of what's out there. And here in Baton Rouge, we have Louisiana Technology Park. It's a sister organization to my organization. It's an incubator right here in Baton Rouge off Florida Boulevard. We have the LSU Innovation Park that's down on Gardier, and they've got a consulting group down there. I know there's resources up, there's the SBDC, et cetera, up at Southern as well. Shreveport, there's the Entrepreneur Accelerator Program. And if you were to go through and just do a Google search for your local region, like if you're near Houston, there's plenty of stuff up there near Houston. Just do a search for for entrepreneur support services, and you will find a lot of great programs. There's meetups, there's both nonprofit entities, plus there's volunteer community organizations. There's lots of types of local entrepreneur support, and they can help you orient yourself and get plugged into other kinds of resources. Now here, Nexus LA, my organization, we have something called the Entrepreneur Assistance Portal. And so you can do a Google search, or you can come and take a look at the Entrepreneur Assistance Portal. And we've actually collected some of these resources for you. So I'm going to head over to that website. Give me just a moment. And I will share my screen with you. And I will show you the Entrepreneur Assistance Portal. Here we are. Okay, you should be seeing nexus-la.org, and this is our Entrepreneur Assistance Portal. So here, you'll see over here, Louisiana Entrepreneur Assistance Portal. We have Find Your Path to Success. This, you create a simple login, and once you've logged in, you take a questionnaire, and it will actually walk you through a process and tell you where you are in your stage and some resources that can help you. There's also find out what's happening. There's different resource providers and capital providers. Now, everyone's interested in capital providers, right? And I'll talk a little bit about this. But first, I want to show you one of our programs that we run here at Nexus LA, and we serve the entire state with this, and that is the Investment Readiness Program. Now, you should be seeing a website that says the Investment Readiness Program. This is a program that we can provide coaching and consulting to make sure you're ready to seek investment. What you don't want to do is to go and pitch an idea that is not fully fledged and is not ready to actually, that is not fully vetted, that is not ready to approach an investor. So we can actually work through the details of the business model and of your presentation, and just make sure that you're ready and that you're well equipped, because we want people to be successful if they go and they seek investment. So this is our Investment Readiness Program, and it's run by one of the staff members with Nexus LA, and they offer a free consultation. Now I'm going to return back to the, I hope you are still seeing this. This should be, what you should be seeing is a Nexus-LA website, and I'm going to click on the Find Capital Providers search button. So right now you should see a search page that says Find Capital Providers. And if you were looking for, let's say, angel investors, you can click on angel investors and click search. And down here, you'll find a number of angel groups. And we'll talk about what an angel investor is in a moment. But you'll see that these are the ones that are located in southern Louisiana. So we have a number of angel groups. And the thing about angel groups is that you can actually apply to seek investment from angel groups that are outside the state. But the advantage of those that are inside the state is that they care about Louisiana business, and there's a chance to build one-on-one and personal relationships with them. So that's a positive thing in order to help facilitate the mentorship that they could provide. But none of you guys are ready for angel investment right now. I would just wanted to make sure that you knew about this right now, and we can then work with you ongoing regarding the next steps. I wanted to make sure that you're aware of this. I'm now going to go back to my presentation, and let's continue on. Okay. So the Entrepreneur Assistance Portal, though, you can search for different kinds of programs that help with manufacturing. It can help you with find different types of support centers, loans, banks that are willing to work with on like small business loans, etc. Now, you should be seeing my presentation right now. And you should be seeing a page that says Accelerator Programs. Now, this is a program that, this is kind of a next stage. Whenever if you feel like you're ready to kind of do an immersive program to help accelerate your startup, there are hundreds of these all around the world. They tend to be like a 3-month program that is highly intense, and they are devoted to helping you really get traction within your startup. So this is further along the path from where you guys, because right now you guys are in the developing ideas stage, but this is further along the path. But I wanted to make sure that you knew about this because it is available to you. There's programs such as Y Combinator, 500 Startups, Techstars. These are all national and global programs. Here in Louisiana, there's also accelerator programs. We've got the Entrepreneurial Accelerator Program up in Shreveport. There's different cohort programs with Propeller and Idea Village and others. And in Baton Rouge, we have a beta version of a HBCU-oriented accelerator program that we are planning on launching next year. So stay tuned for that. Angel investors. I said that I was going to talk about this. So an angel investor, it is a phrase that is used to describe a high net worth individual who is willing to take a risk on an entrepreneur's venture by investing their own money into the venture. They don't give money away. It is a choice that they make to invest some money in exchange for a part of ownership of the program, or there could be some other financial arrangements that are made. But they're always looking for a return on their money. It's an investment. Like they could invest their money in real estate, they could invest their money in the stock market, but an angel investor wants to take a risk on you. So they need to make sure that it is a good investment. So they, prior to contacting an angel, make sure that you've vetted your idea, have done your due diligence, and are prepared. And like I said before, at your stage, talk to your faculty coach. They can help you work through some of this early stage stuff. And once you get further along, programs like our investment readiness program can help you. It can help you get ready to contact an angel investor. Oftentimes, they will. There are angel investors that work independently. So those are harder to come by just because it takes making that connection. So what's nice is that oftentimes angel investors will join networks such as the NOLA Angel Network or the Lagniappe Angels, and there's others. I showed you on the previous search screen. There's others that make sourcing and vetting their investments simpler. So actually on the NOLA Angel Network website, they actually have a place that you can submit your business plan, and they review all the business plans. Some they look at and they immediately say, no, there's not enough here that we're not interested to look at further. And others, they say, so they go to committee and they take this subset of them to committee, and the committee will then look at them and say, which one of these you actually want to present to the group? And then they'll do some due diligence, and then the ones that they want to present to the overall angel network, they then present to the group. As you can see in that process, it's very important to make sure that you're prepared. Otherwise, they won't look at you past that original, they aren't ready. They're not ready for us to take any time to take it to the larger group to be considered. So that's why it's super important to make sure you're ready for it. And the investment readiness program can help you make sure, because we want anyone out there that wants to seek investment, we want to make sure that you're ready. So that's why that program exists. So a lot of these resources, just some of them rather, we've listed on the BizTech Challenge website. That's the website for the contest. That is all the rules, etc. There is a drop down that will actually show you some of these resources. So I'm going to click on this, see if it'll launch and actually share. Okay, now you should see something that says resources. Hopefully you all see this site now. Okay, so this is resources, and you'll see here I've listed, we talked about the Lean approach, the business model canvas, the talking to humans, and then also I've got from the webinar that one of the SCORE counselors provided some financial documents. There's also, because it's useful and you probably should take a look at it, any of those forms that we say you should have a template for your executive summary, your pitch deck, etc., I put them right here for you. So it's easy to get to. So the way to actually navigate to this is from the main website, the contest, you go right down here to resources. So there you have it.